Hello and welcome. Today it's time for the September repurchase review. So if you're new here, this is where I go through everything that I featured on my channel this month and any updates and whether I would purchase it again. And then at the end we do a top 5. So let's go ahead. We're going to start off towards the beginning of the month. We're going to start off with the Westman Atelier concealer. And I think this is an okay concealer. Packaging is cute. We have nice little doe foot here. I have this shade, it's the latest one, Atelier L1. And, it's kind of like a thick medium to full coverage concealer. You do have a little bit of sheen here. You can see it's not going to be a flat matte. You do get a little bit of sheen even when that's buffed in. And I think it's okay, but it's not great. I do get a little creasing with it. So for me, I would not pick that one up again. Then we took a look at the What's Up Beauty. This is the Positivity primer. This is a hydrating primer and it's, vegan and cruelty free. And, I have to say, I do really like this. This is a nice lightweight hydrating primer. This was sent to me, but I would pick this one up. I think this is a nice primer. Then we took a look at the new Givenchy lipsticks. So these are the Le Rouge Interdit satin lipsticks. They are slim style packaging, which I think is great because we're not going to have issues with it, breaking. It is going to be a nice satin formula. It's not too soft, but it is going to be a softer formula. This is the shade 231, which is one of my favorites of the ones that I purchased. And I think this is just a really nice satin lipstick. So these I would pick up again. Next, we took a look at the new Victoria Beckham Posh Balms. So these are the tinted lip balms from Victoria Beckham. And I would not pick these up again for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't like the type of packaging where it clicks up, but then you cannot click it back down. So I don't like the non-retractable ones. This is also a very sheer lip balm, which I don't have an issue with the colors. I would have liked a little bit more pigment, but that's personal preference. My other issue though is they're just a little sticky. So I don't love the formula for these. I think they're okay, but we've had so many tinted lip balms that have come out this year and it's just not one of my favorites. So I would not pick this one up again. And then we took a look at the lip pencils from Tom Ford. And this one here is shade 101 Close Up, which I have on today actually, and this is it. I love these lip pencils. I've been using these a ton. I actually ended up purchasing more shades after my video for these. So I actually have a few more shades that I purchased, but I love these. They are a little expensive, but I really like how creamy they are to go on. And then once they set, they stay put. You can see this one's already almost set and it hasn't even been a minute. So I think they perform very nicely, and if you do want to wear it as all over lip color, they're comfortable, so they don't feel dry or tight on your lips when you put them all over, even if you don't top them with anything. So these are a win for me. Then we took a look at the Hermes Fall Collection, and this is the Ombre Mineral number 11 eyeshadow palette. I have to say I really like this one. I think it's a nice color story. Yes, we do see similar color stories in some other brands and so forth, but I really like this one. It gives you a little bit of a modern retro vibe to it. So for me, I would pick this one up again. But if it's not something you'd wear a lot, I'd recommend getting similar shades from a less expensive product because we do see, some similar color stories in previous palettes or even mixing and matching things like Viseart shadows. They always have some good options and so forth. As for the lipsticks, I did pick up all 3 of the lipsticks and I really like these. I have been wearing these, on my non-filming days as well. And I have to say the one that is my favorite is the one in the new formula, which is this one, the Matte Léger. So this is their sheer matte. I'm just going to put this one here. So this is the one I've been wearing the most. This is going to be shade Rouge Napa. This is 73. And I think this is a really nice formula. And yeah, it's comfortable. It's a sheer matte, feels more like a matte lip balm. But if you've used the Hermes matte lip balms, this is more hydrating than that because there's a little bit more product that transfers onto your lips. So it's a little creamier, if that makes sense. So, you know, if it's more like a lipstick than a lip balm, but we're still reminiscent of that lip balm texture. So I find this really nice. You can build it up. You can have it more sheer. It has a bit of blurring. This is definitely a fantastic lipstick. Really love this one. But honestly, I'd pick up that whole collection again because I just really love it. It's quintessential fall colors, quality is good and everything there. So overall, the Hermes collection was a win for me. Then we took a look at the new Makeup by Mario powder. This is the Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder, and I purchased shade 1, Fair Pink. I think this is a really great setting powder. You know, it gives you a nice matte finish. There's some blur. You know, I would recommend this. I think this is a good product. We also took a look at the new Givenchy Prism Libre powders. So the one I'm holding up is not the one I reviewed with the Makeup by Mario. With that one, I reviewed the regular shade Mousseline Pastel, your #1 that they use for all the holiday products and so forth. And that one's not as shiny as some of the other shades that you can get. Like #3 is definitely a very shiny shade, but you still have a sheen there. Overall, I don't think that the new Givenchy products or powders are a bad product, but I think they're very different from what they used to be. So it's a different customer base who's going to appreciate them. And I think going in with a light hand with them is definitely key. And certain shades are better than others. So I find it, you know, overall it's disappointing. Would I pick up #1 again? I would not, you know, because the purpose for having that shade for me is for a nice setting powder with a bit more of a matte finish. And I'm not getting that anymore with that powder. So I would pick up the Mario over that one. But I also picked up the one I'm holding, the Tulle Opalescent, and I reviewed this one in a little later video throughout the month. But this one here is a very light, pale powder, and this one, when you put this on, you don't see quite as much of the sheen as you do with some of the shades. And putting this on with a very light hand, light dusting of the brush, actually makes a really nice finishing powder. So I would use this one for finishing powder. So the Tulle Opalescent is not a favorite. I'd still pick it up again because I do like it enough for that, but it's not going to be, for me, a setting powder. It's definitely going to be more of a finishing powder, whereas the Makeup by Mario is more of a setting powder. Then we had some new brow products from SUQQU. Honestly, I've been really enjoying these. These were gifted, but I would probably pick up all of these brow products on my own. I have to say, the one I've been using the most, you know, on those days where I just don't feel like, you know, I don't have time or I don't feel like spending the time to really do my brows, I've been using the SUQQU Coloring Eyebrow, and I have shade 02. It's what's on my brows right now. I love how we have this nice fine point little wand here, and this is the shade #2, which I believe is called Sand. And I think it's a really nice product. It reminds me a bit of the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel. I think it's a nice alternative to that. So I'd pick those all up again. I've been using them regularly throughout the month. And along with the brow products, they also sent me their new face primer, which I love. So I've been using this almost every day. You know, it's a nice hydrating primer on days where my skin feels a little oilier, when we're having like a hotter day. I have been using something else like the Prada primer or the Surat Perfectioniste, which is like my all-time favorite. But for a hydrating primer, this is currently my #1 hydrating primer. Previously, you know, my favorite has been this Dior Forever Skin Veil Primer. And I really like this one still, but it's discontinued. So this is my last backup tube. And I would have to say the What's Up Beauty Positivity, I think this is a good alternative to the SUQQU. There's something about the sheen from the SUQQU. You know, I get just a little bit more glow with it underneath my foundation that it puts it ahead of the What's Up Beauty. But I think that's another great hydrating primer. So honestly, I really like both of them, but this one would be my #1 choice there. And this is the SUQQU Reflect Hyaluronic 101. And they sent this one to me, but I did order the pink one. That should be coming with the rest of my winter collection that I ordered. And you can see it's a nice, beautiful white. It's a shimmery highlighter, but it's very finely milled. So you're not getting like huge glitter chunks. It has one of those like gel powder types of textures. Think more of the melting powder blushes that were discontinued. And that's what it makes me think of. So I actually have this on the inner corner of my eyes, and you know, I apologize. My allergies are horrendous right now. So, you know, my eyes have been like really red and very tired looking. But this does help wake them up a little bit. So I have this on the inner corner right now. Now, I also took a look at 2 of the Gucci highlighters, and I had ordered 3, but my third one, they sent the wrong shade. So I did get, you know, they sent the wrong shade twice. So I now have the correct shade. I had to get it somewhere else. But I do really like these. I am doing a highlighter collection video very soon, so I'll have that in there. This one here is the one I've been using the most. This is the Frosted Lilac, and this is what I have on right now. And again, this is like another like gel powder type formula. However, this one is a little bit creamier in texture than the SUQQU. So the SUQQU is more powdery than this is. And what I like about this is even though, you know, it has more of this creamy texture, you can still pick it up with a loose, fluffy brush and just get like a tiny bit of product, or you know, just get enough to put it on. So the brush I actually used for this here is this one. I used just the back of this and went here, and you know, I have to say, I think it is a great highlighter. I'm really enjoying these. I think they're a really nice formula, so I would definitely pick those up again. And then we have the new lipsticks from Dolly Parton. And, you know, they're quintessential Dolly. How can you not support Dolly Parton? So, you know, I like them. You know, they're a nice, like, novelty lipstick. You have rhinestones all over. This is plastic. It's very lightweight. I like the little click top. The lipsticks and everything, they're nice. They're kind of like a basic formula, but you know, I'm happy that I picked these up. I would pick these up again. And I think if there's anybody you know who is a huge fan of Dolly Parton, this is like a great gift. So yeah, I'm really happy with these. And I'm happy to say that there will be more shades coming out soon. And I think she's also bringing out some new products next year. So right now, those are only available on the Dolly Beauty website, but there will be new retailers next year for 2025. Then we took a look at a couple of the new matte lipsticks from Byredo. So last month I had looked at the satins, and then a couple weeks later they came out with the mattes. So this one here is Electric State. I think this one's so much fun. One of the ways you can tell these apart from the original mattes is the shape. We have more of this teardrop shape for the bullet compared to the originals, which were completely round. Keep in mind that there's not as much of a teardrop shape as the Armani Power Lipsticks. But let's see, where can we squeeze this? We'll put this one right here. So that's Electric State. It's a nice bright fuchsia. Overall, I have to say, I think this is a really nice formula. I really love these, but they don't have a very large shade range in cooler tones right now. So I would love to see some lighter, cooler tones in there, and I would definitely pick up more of these in this formula, but I'd love to see an expanding shade range first. All right, so just a quick intermission. Say hi to Sadie. She just came up and she just wanted to say hello and kind of check everything out. So she's probably gonna sit on my feet for the rest of the video. And I know everybody's always interested in Sadie. She's doing really well. So she's very happy, but it has been raining for so far a full week straight. And we've got a few more days of rain. So she's not loving that. Shibas don't really love going to the bathroom in the rain, which means we actually spend more time in the rain because she refuses to go in the grass. Like she won't actually walk in the grass. I have to pick her up physically and put her in the grass. And then she just stands there till she really can't hold it anymore. So hopefully it'll stop raining soon. But moving on, we have the Laura Mercier Holiday Palette. And I love this. I think this is a nice set of cooler tone neutral shades. We have some pops of colors in here too. We've got, you know, these are going to be like soft, medium tone shades. Sadie. So let me just swatch a couple of these shades real quickly. And then Sadie is actually being a little naughty right now. So let me go get her something to chew on. but you can see a couple of these shades here. This one is going to be a little bit more purple. This one's a little more silvery taupe. Just really beautiful shades. I love this palette, totally worth picking up. And it really surprised me from Laura Mercier. You know, I haven't seen anything like this. I don't recall seeing powder eyeshadows from them, at least in the last 5 years. And I really love it. I think they did a great job. I'd love to see this permanent, actually. Then we took a look at the Burberry Beyond Volume Mascara. And right now I've only seen this at Selfridges. The brush, you know, I typically don't like this style of brush because the bristles are a little bit more sparse than what I prefer. However, this one actually works really well with separating the lashes, yet still getting some volume. I really like this mascara. This one's a win. I would buy this again. Then we looked at the new Victoria Beckham concealers. Now, I really like this concealer. This concealer I've been using regularly. This is, in my opinion, better than the Westman Atelier. I picked up 2 shades. And so here's the Westman Atelier. Let me put, this is FL1, which is what I've been using the most. But honestly, the best shade for me is mixing the FL1 and then the FL2 together. Here's the FL2. You can see it's a little bit darker than the Westman Atelier. And it's more nude, whereas the Westman Atelier has a little bit more of a brighter peach hue to it. But yeah, I really like the formula. It's going to be lighter coverage than the Westman Atelier. So you're looking more at light to medium coverage, and you have a little bit of radiance in there. It's not shiny, but if you like the Valentino brightening concealer, it's kind of like that one. And yeah, those are both favorites for me. And then we took a look at the new Clarins glosses, and we have a black and a white, and these are actually like a more plumping version of these, so you do have a little bit of minty texture. I think the black one is worth picking up. The white one is not, because it's just clear, but this is going to be black that gets a little bit of that berry hint. However, I don't love the plumping sensation on these. It's not super strong. I would just prefer it not to have them have that in there and be more like their regular lip oils. So that's my only complaint with these, but I'd still pick up the black again. I'd pass on the white. Then we have the new Tom Ford lipsticks, and I purchased a lot of these actually. I really like these. And so I actually placed these over a period of 2 orders. And yeah, this one here is N3 West Coast, which is one that I use the most. Let's see, we'll put this one right here. And I really like this one a lot. But I love the formula. It's the nice satin formula. You know, it's very similar to his previous formula, but hopefully these are not going to go rancid fast. So time will tell, but I'm loving them so far, and I'd rebuy them. Then we took a look at the new Tom Ford gel eyeliners. Now, these only come in 3 colors, and I love the formula, but I would love to see more shades from them. The one I really want to shout out, though, is this one in 01 Cream. And let's just go ahead. We'll put this on my finger here. But this is a great shade for doing the waterline on your lower lid. I mean, usually those things just come off like kind of right away. This stays put. I really like it. I think this is a fantastic option. I really like the brown and the black eyeliner as well, but this is the one that really makes the biggest difference for me. And then we took a look at the new Armani Luminous Silk Highlighters. I picked up a couple shades. This one here is shade number 1. And I think these are a really nice highlighter. You know, it's a nice liquid. You can put this on, you know, and kind of buff it out, really sheer it out, and then put blush on top. You could just do a little bit on top to get some radiance there. But you get that sheen, you get that shimmer, but you're not seeing glitter chunks. Now, don't get me wrong, you can see there's definitely radiance on there. It's incredibly finely milled though, so you're not seeing actual pieces. So we're still waiting to see those pop up in the US. I purchased mine from Selfridges. To say I really like them though, so I would definitely pick those up again. And then ESUM sent me some of their new brushes, and they have redesigned a few. Like this one here is a T47. The previous version was flat top, it wasn't angled. This one here is synthetic. I like this brush. I think this is great for like cream contour and so forth. So I've been using this with the Dior contour stick a lot. And then sometimes I just go ahead and use it for my foundation as well. But this one here is probably my favorite. It's technically a highlight brush, but I think it's perfect for, you know, getting more precise blush placement. So I love this one. This is the G53, and I think it's a really great brush. So there are some new designs for the ESUM brushes, and then there are also some that are going to be, you know, redesigned, and some that are just back. So this one here, at least I believe this one was completely new shape, but this one G53, this one has goat hair, whereas the T series here is going to be synthetic. Then we had Chanel Fall. So very divisive collection. This is a divination quad. It's all mattes. I have to say though, I do actually like this one, but it all depends how you use it. And honestly, I prefer to use this by mixing in shades from other palettes. I don't tend to usually use this one all on its own. So yeah, you know, I think this is a nice palette. You can use it all by itself, but I actually like mixing it. I like mixing these purples with some more shimmery shades and so forth, or even just like the SUQQU highlighter pairing with that. So I like it. It's not for everybody though. Then we also had this blush, the lavender blush, and I don't like this one, honestly. It's a little bit too powdery. And it's really more of a lavender face powder, in my opinion, than a blush. You could definitely use this all over for like a setting powder, but I don't think it gives as nice of a perfected finish as a powder intended to be a face powder. So honestly, it's like I have it, so I'll figure out a way to use it. It does look nice if I buff it on more as a blush lighter and then put another blush on top. So that's how I've been using it, but it's not a favorite. I would not pick it up again. Then we have the new Rouge Allure inks, and I do like these. This one here is Evocation number 234, and let's see here, we'll put this one here on this finger. And yeah, I think this is a nice formula. I like them. It's not that different from the previous formula, but you know, they did have to change a few ingredients in there. So overall though, I think these are nice. I would pick up more shades in this when they expand the shade range. Right now, the shade range has a lot of very warm shades. I'd like to see some cooler tone shades that are not necessarily a bright pink. I'd love to see some lighter, cooler tone shades. Then we had the Cle de Peau holiday collection, and this is a lipstick. I love the packaging on this. I wish they had made this refillable. I think it's such a beautiful lipstick. And this is shade 526. I wiped off the swatches using my micellar water, and you can see how pigmented some of these are, like electric state. So I'm really gonna have to go in with that one with a firm washcloth and an oil cleanser. But you can see this Cle de Peau lipstick. This is a great shade. I really like this one a lot, and I think it's fantastic. The rest of the collection, I also really like. So the luminizers and the eyeshadow, those are all in refillable packaging. This is my favorite of the highlighters. This is 107. And usually the shades that are a little bit more unique like this are the ones that are exclusive to the Cle de Peau website. But this is the one that's actually been available at other retailers, which I think is great. Now, the eyeshadow palette, we do have some similarities to the Hermes. Are they the same? No, but they definitely have some similar vibes. This is going to be a little bit softer. I really like this one. You know, I think this is a nice eyeshadow palette, great formula, softer shades here. I don't regret purchasing any items in this collection. I would say though that this 108 shade for the highlighter is a bit more similar to some other ones that we've seen before. So you might already have one pretty similar to this in your collection. And I don't have anything similar to the 107 in my collection, but you might if you have, you know, some of the other shades could be more similar than what I have. Then we took a look at all three of the new Hourglass holiday palettes. And I have to say this one here, the Evil Eye one, is actually my favorite, although the dragon design is my favorite. But color-wise, this one I think is great. Honestly, all three of them, we have 5 new shades in each. These two blushes are kind of my favorites here, so I'm going to just go ahead and swatch those. But I really, you know, I think all 3 palettes, no regrets over purchasing any of them. Hourglass did just release a new 4 p.m. palette, which has what they're considering 3 new shades. Really, it's 2 new shades if you purchase the Dragon palette, because this shade here, Dreamlight, this is the powder in there. So they're calling that a new shade, but it's also in this palette. So it's a new shade for both palettes. But I decided to pass on that one because, again, we have 2 new shades and 2 returning shades since I already have this one. But no regrets on purchasing any of these Hourglass palettes. I think they have great quality and I love the colors. They do run a bit warm though, so keep that in mind. And then we move on to the Dior Backstage collection. And I have to say, I actually like the Dior Backstage collection this year better than the Dior Couture holiday collection. I think this is a better collection. So we've got these beautiful, I mean, I love these shades here. We've got purples, we've got blues, we've got silvers, we've got some warmer browns, so we've got a variety of shades here. I think, if you've been looking for a cooler tone eyeshadow palette, this is a really great option. So this is Celestial Purple, number 4, and I would definitely pick that up again. I wish that was permanent. And then we have Celestial Glow Highlighting Palette, which, I actually don't currently have any of the Dior Backstage highlighting palettes any longer, but I do like this. We have some different finishes here. Like this peachy shade is going to be very subtle, whereas the white glittery shade, it's a glitter, and that's great on the eyes as well. So I would pick this up again as well. And then we have the Purple Lip Maximizer, which is mostly clear, but it gives you a little bit of a dusky purple vibe to it. I'd pick it up again as well, but I just think they did a great job with the Dior Backstage collection, so definitely a win. Then we have Chantecaille Holiday, and they released 3 duos. This is my favorite of them. This is the Silver Willow duo. Right now in my eyes, I have the Lisa Eldridge Liquid in Ione with the metallic from the Silver Willow here, and I think it's just a nice silvery taupe shade here. Really beautiful. And yeah, I love this one in particular. I think quality on all of them is great. They're great neutrals. Are they particularly holiday? No, but Chantecaille is great for neutral shades that have some elegance and some shimmer here that work well all year. So Silver Willow is my favorite, followed by Jasmine, which is your browns, and that one's gonna be a bit warmer. And then we have Cassis, which I think is a nice palette, but it's not ideal for my particular coloring. It's definitely gonna be better for people with deeper coloring who like some of those more reddish shades. And then we also have 2 new lip crystals, which I personally love the lip crystals. This is Aventurine, which is my favorite of them. But we also have Pink Topaz, which is a bit more, it's a lighter pink shade here. And let's put that one right next to it. And we've got a little bit of brown in there, but it's going to be like a nude pink. And I think these are great. So I've been loving them. You can dab them on to get a lighter bit of glitter or really amp that up. So yeah, overall, I would pick up, if I were to purchase the Chantecaille collection again, for me, I'd pick up everything except the Cassis, just because that one doesn't suit me as much. But I do actually enjoy this collection. We talked about the Givenchy Tool Opalescent, but in that video, I also took a look at the new Addiction Tokyo powders, and we have 3 glow shades and a matte shade, and I think these are great powders. I love that they're refillable as well. I would definitely pick these up again, and yeah, I think they're a great product. So I would pick up all of the Addiction Tokyo powders again. And just a reminder that I am working on a powder overview video, kind of an update to my older one with all of the loose and pressed powders that I have, and you'll be able to see all of the face swatches. So it's a work in progress right now. I finally received the last powder I was waiting for, so that will be up within the next few weeks. And then we also took a look at the new Sarah Creel lip primer and lipsticks. I think these are both fantastic products. The lip primer, though, really impressed me because it feels kind of like a matte lip balm, but it really does seem to help prime your lips. It gives you a little bit of blurring. If you're familiar with the Sisley Blur Expert, it's like that for your lips, but in a lip balm texture. And it does help with the longevity, and I just think it's great, and it works well with, other products also, not just the Sarah Creel formula. But I do really like the Sarah Creel formula. I picked up 2 of the shades, and I would definitely pick up more of these when they expand the shade range, or possibly before that as well. This is Double Standard, which is probably my favorite of the 2 I picked up, but I really like them both. I also have SUQQU. So I mentioned the Lisa Eldridge. This is the Liquid Silk eyeshadow in Ioni, which is what I have on as my base here. I think this is a really great formula, but the shades definitely are not what I was expecting. It's supposed to be a nude collection. It looked more like a dusky lavender, but it's actually going to be pretty warm, especially when you spread this out. So it's significantly warmer than I was hoping for. So I love the formula, but I'm not a huge fan of the shades in there. I'd pick up this shade again, but even then, it's still not exactly what I would prefer. So I hope they expand the shade range because the formula is very nice. A couple more things. We took a look at the Eadem. These are the SUQQU Lip Softening Balm, and they sent this to me, but you know, I'm picking up more of these during the Sephora sale next month. I definitely plan on, you know, picking up a few more of them. They do have like a scent or taste depending on the shade. I have the Bissap Glaze shade, which I really like, but these are reparative on your lips, but still act kind of like a lip balm. It's like a lighter, softer version of the Revision Lip Repair Balm. So if you like that, I love using that overnight for deep, intensive repair. This is kind of like a lighter daytime use version of that. And they also have clear that you can use overnight, but I love it. Then we took a look at some new items from Sisley. This is my favorite of the new liquid eyeshadows from Sisley. This is number 8, Stardust. But honestly, I really like all 3 shades. I didn't expect to like them so much. The formula has definitely improved since the initial launch of these, where when I purchased some of the shades initially, when they first launched a few years ago, some of them, you know, they went on kind of patchy and, you know, they just weren't the best, whereas some were really good. All 3 of the ones I picked up here are all really good. We also took a look at the new Sisley mascara. This is called the Fido Noir mascara, and I have it in black, but I'm also picking it up in brown at some point. I love the Sisley brown mascaras, and I think this is a really great mascara. I really like it. It's definitely expensive. If you're looking for a better price on it, definitely check out Selfridges. But a fail for me from Sisley was their Ligne Noir eyeliner. So their new liquid eyeliner, it doesn't set quickly enough. It's kind of a watery formula. So if you have fine lines, you know, before it even has a chance to set, it kind of migrates into them. You know, it's like when you're soaking up something on a paper towel, it kind of saturates into those areas. So unless your skin is very, very taut, it's hard to get that nice crisp line because of that. It's just a little bit too thin. And then we took a look at the SUQQU Winter. This is part 1. These were the items that they sent me during PR. The blush I have on now is from that. So is the lip product I have on. This is the Lip Glow. So it's like the Lip Fogs, but their satin version. I have shade 108. This has become such a great everyday shade. I really love it. I also have the blue eyeshadow palette, which personally I really love. I think this is a great palette. But the standout for me is definitely going to be this blush. I've been using this blush nonstop, and it is just like the perfect pink for me. And we have a tiny bit of mauve in there, but it's definitely a pink. And, you know, these are the blurring color blushes. So we have kind of, you know, your blush that blends into more of a highlighter shade. It's a pretty subtle sparkle. It's not like a true highlighter. It's definitely more. There is some shimmer, but not that much. So I really like that. I personally just mix the whole thing around and wear that on my cheeks. So I loved those items so much. I did order the rest of the collection, and that should arrive later this week, and I will get that up as soon as I can. But definitely worth picking up in my opinion. And then we took a look at the Givenchy Holiday. And look here, again, similar color story. We've got some similarities in here. You know, there are definitely some recurring shades that we see in all of these. These are very creamy. You've got some light shades. You've got some shades that are really buildable. The texture of these though is so creamy and easy to use. If you're going in with a brush, it's really easy to kind of shear things out and get a lighter wash of color or intensify them. So I think the formula on this is great. I love the palette. So far, I've only seen it available at Givenchy directly. I'm not sure if it's going to be coming to other retailers or not. Sometimes their eyeshadow palettes do, and sometimes they're exclusive. So it's really hard to say, but right now we've seen the other items in the collection. Their lipsticks, their face powder, which by the way is the #1 mousseline pastel, just with a special lid. And just a note, but the older powders from Givenchy, those lids do not fit the new powders and vice versa. So just something to note. But I think another star was this highlighter from Givenchy. And this is going to be shade number 14. And I think it is a great shade. I put that lid on crooked. It's the worst thing about these square containers. I always feel like they're so hard to close. But I love this highlighter. I think this is a fantastic shade. Great for holiday. And it's definitely a win for me. I'd pick up the eyeshadow palette and the highlighter again. I did pass on the lipsticks. Then we took a look at the new Westman Atelier. This is their Fête set. And we have new blush shade that's limited edition only in this set. This is going to be called Bubble. And then we also have a new lid up stick in the shade Toast. Honestly, I think this is such a great mini set. We've got beautiful shades. These are fantastic. I'd love to see these full size permanent line, but regardless, I think it's a great set. We also get a mini mascara in the I Want You formula, which is my personal favorite. And I think this makes a great gift. And it's just, I love the mini sizes because you can be sure to use them up before they go bad. Although I have to say my full sizes, all of mine are still good from the original time that I purchased them several years ago. So they've definitely survived past the expiration date with no changes to the formula or scent or anything. I would definitely pick up this set again. I think it's fantastic. Then we took a look at the new Violette FR Balms. So we have two new shades of the Bisou Balms, which are the matte lip balms. This one here is my favorite. This is Balm Balm Teal. And it's a really nice pinkish berry shade, cooler tone pink. I really like this one. It's kind of the shade I've been waiting for from them, and it's a go-to for me. The other shade here, Rose Latte, let's just put it right next to it. It's going to be a little bit of a warmer pink. I also really like this. I think this is great as well. But honestly, the Balm Balm Teal, it's just like, it's a true favorite for me. It kind of reminds me of a softer version of the Rose Blues from Dior, which I love. So here is Rose Blues in the Forever formula. I had to twist that a lot because I've actually used this so much. This shade is one that I'm using up, but you can see the similarity in tone. So, I mean, really the Balm Balm Teal is kind of like your great, like everyday shade for that when you want something a little bit softer and lighter. Of course, you could always go in with this and just kind of dab it, add a little lip balm if you want. But this is another great option. And last up, we have the Dior Couture Holiday Collection. And I picked up the eyeshadow palette in Soir de Bal. I would pick this one up again. I think it's a nice palette, but it's not as great as I was hoping it was going to be because I don't really like these top two shades. They're okay, but I don't love them. However, the bottom three shades I do really like. And these are going to be the ones that I kind of use the most. So I really like those. I'd pick this up again specifically for those three shades. Now, keep in mind, I would still use the other two, but for me, they're not as necessary in the palette. I also picked up both of the luminizers. They're warmer than I expected. I was really hoping they'd be a little bit lighter. They're warmer and deeper. This is the Creole Lumiere, which surprisingly, this one swatches deeper than the Aura Lumiere, but because it has a little bit of that peachy hue, I do think it kind of works a little bit better on my complexion. Would I pick these up again? It's really hard to say, honestly. They're not going to be my most used highlighters. I do like them. I don't regret purchasing them, but they're not going to be a favorite of mine either. So they're a like, not a love. What I did love from this collection were all of the lip products. So we had some really great lip products. The lip sequins are back. and I picked up 6 of them. They have 10 shades. They are limited edition. Let's see, we'll put this on this finger. This is one of my favorites. This is 703, which is kind of this mauvey shade. You know, you got some purple, you got some brown. It's really beautiful. And then we have pink glitter. So you put these on, you let it dry for 5 minutes, let it set. Don't touch it at all. Don't rub your lips together during that time. And then you press your lips together and you get tons of glitter, and I think they're beautiful. I really like them. They do hold up pretty well throughout the day, but you can get some like wear marks. They're considered transfer proof. I would say they are 95% transfer proof, but I can still see like a little bit of wear, you know, throughout the day, you know, right in the center of my lips where I'm like eating and drinking and so forth. But I think those are great. The lipstick I bought in Masquerade, which I think is another, we'll put that one here. Another beautiful shade here, similar, but this is more of a burgundy versus the lip sequence. This is actually the shade Masquerade in the liquid. You can see they're completely different. So this is Sensation, this is Masquerade, and this is Masquerade in the bullet lipstick. But one of my favorite products is actually going to be the Dior Lip Addict in Divine Plum. And we'll put that on this finger. This is going to be like an everyday shade for me. I really like this. So the lips are definitely a plus for me. My favorites would be these 2 liquids, which are Sensation and Masquerade. This one and this one. These are my 4 favorite lip products from the Dior holiday collection. And then I also want to mention a couple brushes. These are from Fude Bobo. These were gifted. These are Koyudo Yoshiki brushes, and they are continuing our dragon theme here. Between the 2, this angled one here is my favorite. I do really like both of these though. I think they are great brushes. I love the collection in general, and I'm missing one brush from there, which as soon as that restocks, I'm definitely snagging that. So I would pick these up again. These 2 were gifted, but I actually do plan on buying each of these myself as well, because this series, you know, is one that I am planning on passing on to my children. So I personally absolutely love them. And some of the brushes from here might end up becoming permanent brushes, but they won't have the dragon design in the future. So I'm definitely trying to get what I can this year with that design on them. And then we also looked at this angled brush from Fude Bobo, and I think this is a gorgeous brush. We've got more of that Sakura design down here, and you can see it's an angled cheek brush. I love this one. You can use this for powder or whatever. So both of these angle brushes I think are fantastic. And it's incredibly, incredibly soft. I mean, this is not your standard goat hair brush. It is an elevated quality. So definitely highly recommend all 3 of these brushes. Let's go into my top 5 for the month. All right, so picking a top 5 this month was incredibly, incredibly hard. I have so many favorites here this month that this was pretty much an impossible task, but these are my top 5. This is what I selected. We have the Lip Crystal in Aventurine. Let me put these down for a sec. So this is Aventurine, which we had swatched before. You can see I cannot get off that eyeliner there, so it stays put well. But I really love the shade. I love the crystal. And with all these holiday collections, this is probably my favorite lip from holiday items. But it was really hard to choose a favorite here. There were so many contenders that I really wanted to include here, like the lip sequin in 703 or the Divine Plum or the Tom Ford lipsticks. Those were kind of all in there. And then the Cle de Peau one is so great as well. But I ended up choosing the Lip Crystal in Aventurine. This brush from ESUM and G53 has become it's just such a great size, and I don't have this size. So this has become a go-to. I love this, especially for more pigmented blushes. You can also use this for highlighter. So this is in my favorites. Because I've been using these 2 almost every single day, I had to include the SUQQU blush, which I have on right now, and the SUQQU face primer. These are go-tos. I absolutely love them. And yeah, I had to include them as in the top 5 just because I use them so frequently. And then last up, The Dior Backstage eyeshadow palette was #1 for me for the eyeshadow palettes. So I really love the color story here. If I had to go based on formula, for all of the formulas for the eyeshadow palettes we've looked at here, the Givenchy is actually my favorite. But I chose this one because of the color story in particular. So the runner-up, though, was the Givenchy. So I hope this was helpful. I'd love to know what your favorites were, what you thought of all of the products here today. Definitely have so many great items. And I hope this is helpful as you are going through the massive amount of releases we've had this month. It's insane. Let's hope October is just a little bit slower. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching.